Hey folks, Jeff here at Backcountry. Appreciate y'all stopping by the channel today. Today I wanted to do a little walkthrough and give you an update on the garden and how things are going, what we've learned, and what our plans are. So let's take a look. So first off, I'll tell you that the beets have been a complete failure. So there's a beet. Here's another one over here. They're just not growing, and I don't really know why. I'm guessing that it has something to do with the soil, maybe the pH of the soil. This is very acidic soil, and maybe they just don't like it. That's preventing them from uptaking enough nutrients, and they're just not growing. So obviously, if we want to plant beets, we're going to have to seriously amend their soil and of course plant them early. This heat doesn't help either. The tomatoes, of course, are looking great. You can see there's tomatoes all over these things. We're just not producing that many yet. So here's some basil that we planted in front of this tomato. Now basil is a good companion plant for tomatoes, primarily because something about the roots and something that the roots secrete that keeps nematodes away from the roots. That's basically what I read. We've also got some zinnias that we planted. These are zinnias. And I forget what these other plants are. Not mums, marigolds. So marigolds and zinnias we planted around also, which are good companion plants. And they kind of draw off some of the bugs and stuff like that. Of course, I threw some eggshells out there, and that's all over the stuff. That's what that white is. I just throw it in the soil. Doesn't hurt it. It breaks down real slow, so there's no immediate help. Some people believe that if you throw eggshells in, it helps with blossom end rot and stuff like that to give calcium. But the truth of the matter is that eggshells break down slowly in the soil. So if you're looking for immediate help, that's not really the solution. And we've been using some bags to put over our tomatoes. As soon as they start to get ripe, we put these little mesh bags over them to keep the bugs and worms and all that off of them, and the birds as well. I prefer to let them ripen on the vine. Now there's a lot of info out there that they say as soon as they start to turn red at all, there's no difference in plucking it from the vine and letting it ripen on your counter versus ripening it on the vine. I haven't done taste tests and everything to be convinced of that yet. Maybe I will eventually, but for now I'm happy with letting them ripen on the vine, and you know, they taste delicious, so I'm happy with that. So overall, you know, like I say, you can see these tomatoes are full. Apologize for my shadow. The sun is burning bright here in Texas as usual, and even though it's early and only in the 80s right now, we're gonna be about 98 today, so it's gonna be a hot one. But so far I haven't had to do shade cloth or anything. What I do is I come out and check my plants in the heat of the day and see how they look. Now if they look like they're kind of drooping and sad, reacting to the heat, then I would put up the shade cloth. But because they have not been that way, they've been basically the same all day long, I have not put up the shade cloth. Now they do get morning shade from these trees, and some of them even are getting shade into the afternoon, but like I say, I haven't noticed a difference with any of them. So they're all doing pretty well. Of course, the ones on the other side we just looked at are early girls. These are the better boys. And I haven't got a lot of tomatoes off the Better Boys yet. They're still growing, and just haven't got to the point where they're getting ripe yet. So anticipation is making me wait, right? But you know, they are growing some beautiful tomatoes. I mean, those are really nice specimen there, looking great. So we'll be excited to get them. Of course, I do go through and pull the suckers off as I find them. Sometimes I don't get them right away. So you can see this one here has gotten quite a bit bigger, and I just throw them in my little garden compost pile. These are some of Lorena's plants here. These are some hibiscus varieties that are native to the area. Friend gave her the seeds, so she's growing those. Oh, I was going to show you. So I take some of those suckers that I pull off that are bigger, and I just stuck them in a pot of soil, and those are doing good. One of them's even got a tomato growing on it there. So the thing about those suckers is if they get big and you just stick them in the dirt, they will grow. Now here's the tomatillo. Tomatillo is looking beautiful. I mean, look how big that sucker's grown. It's like a weed just spreading all over there. Unfortunately, don't have a lot of tomatillos on the plant, so we haven't got any tomatillos yet. And honestly, I don't even see any that are growing there. I mean, lots of flowers. Now we do have 2 tomatillo plants. Here's the second one here, and it's growing well. It's got lots of flowers on it also, so they should be able to cross-pollinate. We see bees and everything in the garden, but for whatever reason, we're not getting any tomatillos. So not sure what's going on there, but we keep taking care of it, and sooner or later it'll work out. The plant does look healthy overall. The color's pretty good, flowering plenty, so I think it'll be all right. Of course, more marigolds and zinnia around another tomato. Like I say, these tomatoes are the Better Boys, and so they're supposed to be the biggest of the 3 that we got. And again, they're coming along. Haven't got a lot of tomatoes off of these yet, but we do have a few that are about ready to pick. There's one in the bag there that's looking pretty good, and that one under there is looking pretty good. They're just not that big like I had hoped. We have pulled a few of them nasty hornworms off of here. So we're starting to fight the worms a little bit. And it's just a matter of finding the darn things. And of course, trying to get out here after dark. The days are still long, so it gets dark late. And getting out here after dark with a UV light to find those things has been a bit of a challenge, but we'll get her done. The pepper plants, of course, are looking good. Now, I did add some more pepper plants. This one here is a poblano. It has not produced anything yet. There's the first bloom coming along there. So it's getting ready to bloom for its first time. Hopefully that's going to give us some poblano chilies. This is our lunchbox orange. Man, we had a terrible time getting this thing healthy. We went through some serious rains where it was just raining like crazy, and we were fighting different fungus issues, and so we treated with some fungicide and kept taking leaves off of these things, and oh, they look pitiful for a while, but finally they're doing well, and this thing's got a lot of blooms on it, so hopefully we'll be seeing some lunchbox little sweet peppers soon. This is our serrano. We've picked several serranos off of it already, and it's just continuing. I mean, here's another beautiful little one there, a couple more little ones there, some bigger ones there, another little one over there. So this thing has continuously been covered with peppers, and it's produced well for us already. This one here is a yellow bell pepper. it's got its first blooms appearing on it now. So it's coming right along. The plant's big and healthy, color's good. I like everything about it. This one here is one of the other one of the 2 jalapenos that we have. It's a gigante jalapeno, and it's blooming again. It has produced a few jalapenos, and then it kind of got pitiful for a while because of all the rain and everything, and now it's coming back just as strong as can be. The plant looks healthy, it's growing taller and blooming again, so hopefully that'll start producing again soon. This is a green bell pepper, and there you can see a little grasshopper. Dang it, I missed him. Is on it. I'm having trouble with grasshoppers getting in here and eating the plants. A couple of bell peppers growing on there. There's one right there and one right there. So that plant's doing well, and looking forward to some bell peppers. This is the other jalapeno, and you can see there it's got a bloom on it, and it's looking good. It's not as big as the other one, but it's still doing okay. It went through again the same thing of the fungus and all that. Just so much rain was really doing a lot of harm to these things. This one suffered greatly. This is the red lunchbox pepper, and a little sweet pepper, and it's blooming also, and the plant looks much better, but still it's got some issues. Not perfect, but it's coming along. It's a lot better than it was. So that's our tomatoes and peppers overall. I mean, they're all doing pretty good. This thing over here is the cantaloupe, man. It has spread all over the place. It's doing fairly well. There's a cantaloupe there, but there's a beautiful cantaloupe there. That one's going to be ready pretty soon. It's coming along well. And of course you can look through, and there's another one there. There's one there. There's another one underneath there. I mean, I don't know. There's 7 or 8 cantaloupe on there. So it's coming along pretty well. Our yellow squash, I don't know what's going on there. They've kind of suffered lately. Had to cut them way back, and they're just trying to come back, but the leaves are real small. It's just not doing that great. And right now we're getting a lot of fruit that's dropping off. They're not getting pollinated. So yeah, we'll continue to work on that. Here's our golden zucchini. It's finally coming back. It produced 1 zucchini, and then it kind of just got all crazy, quit producing, wasn't doing well at all, and we just kept cutting her back and taking care of it, and it's coming back again now. There's a pollinator in there on that flower working for us, so that's good. And you can see we got some straight necks, crook necks coming along. Those plants are doing okay. I mean, we have pulled several squash off of these and eaten them already. That's one thing. Squash are always heavy producers, and it doesn't take many plants to be overwhelmed. Our watermelon, we had 2 watermelons. One of them just split. I mean, it busted open, but we were able to eat it, and it was decent. It wasn't great. Of course, I need to pick zucchini. The zucchini has produced consistently. I mean, we got a refrigerator full of zucchini. We've been eating it like crazy. We love zucchini, so it's all good. More coming along on that plant as well. So pretty much every zucchini has consistently produced, but you know, here's an example of one that probably ain't gonna make it. You can see, yeah, it's rotten at the end. Now this could be an end rot issue from lack of calcium or something, but it can also be a pollination issue if this didn't get pollinated well. So hard to say. Because the plant overall is doing well and it is producing good fruit, whatever, I suspect that was a pollination issue. I mean, you can look at what's going on right now. I've got 3 males right there. 2 of them aren't even open yet, the flowers. And then I got a male flower, or I mean those are females, and I got a male flower down there that I just accidentally busted open, but it should have already bloomed based on the look of it. It looks like it already opened and closed. So it would be nice to be able to pollinate with that flower, but the other flowers ain't even ready yet. So that's a timing issue, and that can affect pollination. So, you know, what are you gonna do? You just gotta let nature run its course. Of course, this plant here has some males, and since these are all zucchini, even though there's some different varieties here, they can cross-pollinate no problem. So we always hope that we get the timing right, and like I say, they have been steadily producing zucchini, so you know, you're gonna lose a few. That's just the way it goes. Now these are turnips. They are another plant that has been pretty much a flop. They're not growing well at all. I mean, if you look down, there's really no turnip there. It's not developing the root. So again, I have to assume that that's a pH issue, and that they don't like this acidic soil. Now my radishes did fairly well. I just let them go to seed on some of these older ones, and hopefully we'll be able to pluck the seeds off of that and save them for next year, so I don't have to buy any seeds. Radishes, I just pull them up and snack on them. We moved our mulberries out here. They continue to grow and do well. And then we've got the corn. So the corn is still a mystery because we haven't reached the total days to maturity yet, but we're getting close. But unfortunately, I mean, like here, this one does not look well at all. If I pluck that off of the plant, we can see it didn't pollinate well. You can see a bunch of missing kernels there. That's poor pollination. Probably didn't get enough nitrogen. Now we did put some urea down to try to give these some nitrogen, but maybe we didn't get enough for this soil, you know. Now again, we didn't test the soil or anything. We're just doing it what we called pioneer style and watching the plants, letting them kind of talk to us. Now this is the early Golden Glow, and it's a small corn anyway. It's supposed to be ready a lot faster than the other ones, but if this is how they're gonna look, then, you know, I'm not expecting good results off of this stuff. But there's some ears that I can see that you know, at least look better than that one I just pulled off. So it'll be a few days yet before we start picking them, but like that ear right there looks good and fat and healthy, so hopefully that gives us a good ear of corn, even though they're naturally a smaller ear. Now if we come around, the middle row is the peaches and cream, and the outside row is the candy corn. So the candy corn is the one that takes the longest as far as your days to harvest, maturation, whatever you want to call it. But you can see, I mean, it's a small ear, but it is coming along. You know, they feel fat, they feel full. We'll see. And if we go to the inside row, you know, those ears of corn look a little bit bigger, a little better. They're still not huge. I suspect that it's due to nutrients. This sandy soil is a real challenge when it comes to nutrients, because there's, you know, sand doesn't hold a lot of nutrients. So you really have to augment the heck out of your soil. Most of the people around here have gone to raised garden beds for that reason. I mean, here's a nice ear coming along there. So I know we're gonna get some corn, and you know, at least some of it will be edible. But it's been a learning curve, you know. Next year we're gonna have to do some stuff different on this. Obviously, I mean, if you're into corn, you know that these corn are way too close together, so they're competing for nutrients as well. I did that because we get a lot of windstorms, and so my idea was that if I go ahead and let them grow closer together, closer rows, everything, that they would survive the windstorms, and they did, and we've had some doozies. So a lot of friends, their corn got knocked down and never came back up. I mean, it was bad, while mine withstood every storm. They did lay over a bit a couple of times, but not enough to take them out of the fight, and they were able to stand back up. So overall, you know, I'm happy with what we're learning. And you know, I've already got some plans to do things different next year. I will plant them normal rows next year, further apart, etc. I'll probably move them up to the top. Now this is all on the side of kind of a hill here. It slopes down, and to this side I had to cut trenches because the torrential downpours were literally just wiping out the garden. There's a trench there, and that's made a challenge for the watermelon as well. So, you know, that's been problematic, but being able to get the nutrients to the corn and everything. Corn is a real heavy feeder and requires a lot of nitrogen, and so I put a lot of urea in this top row and then covered it with mulch, and then I was watering this and hoping it would flow downhill and get to those roots. But you know, I still don't think it was enough. I got to do more. So try to get it up top in the flatter soil where it'll hold more nutrients. I hope we're going to get lots more compost and manure, composted manure. Can't find a lot of you know, horse manure without, or I mean cow manure, without paying a fortune for it. But I have seen places that offer free horse manure that's composted, and so I think I'm going to use that. I mean, the best research I could do on the internet's told me that horse manure is, you know, fine. It's got plenty of nitrogen in it, etc. So we're hoping that I can get some dump truck loads of that, mix it in together with our regular compost we've been using, and you know, we're gonna tear down the whole garden, gonna take out the fence and everything, bring the dozer in here, rip everything up some more, do some more clearing around the sides, clean it up a little bit more. I'm gonna probably go further back, remove a lot more rock, make it a little bit bigger. Down this side where there's mostly clay, I'm going to trench along the fence, fill it in with compost and manure, and then I'm going to plant grapes along this fence line down the side. That's where we're going to put our grapes, and hopefully that'll work out. I might even do something with the side of the hill here. We're thinking about putting down, you know, compost and whatnot, making more topsoil on there, and just planting wildflowers up there to bring in more pollinators. Of course, the pollinators have been coming in fine, but we love the pollinators anyway. So that's kind of the plan and where we're at on all of that. But overall, I think the garden's been a success. Like I say, we are getting plenty of squash, zucchini, and we're hoping on the other stuff. I've eaten lots of radishes, and well, the corn's coming along, so we'll see when we get there. It's going to be another few weeks before it's all done. And the tomatoes, of course, coming right along. Lots of tomatoes on the plants, so we've been getting a few. We're not into the point yet where they're, you know, a bunch of them are getting ripe at the same time. See, there's another one down there in a bag that's coming along, but we're just getting, you know, a few, maybe 1 or 2 a week. Seems 3 or 4 a week maybe. We're not getting a lot yet, but obviously with all the tomatoes on the plants, we're gonna get there. When we come over to the strawberry patch, obviously with the heat and everything, they're not producing much, but these are Quinaults and Chandlers. Now the Chandlers are a June bearing variety, so they quit producing a long time ago, but they are sending runners out everywhere. and we're getting a lot more plants, so I think that's a good thing. We'll figure out how we're going to organize them later. Right now we're just kind of managing best we can and letting them grow. We are having to put bags on fruit as the Quinaults, which are an everbearing strawberry. They're still producing. And if we look inside that bag, there we go. There's a little strawberry growing in there that's actually looking like it's going to be ripe really soon. Lorena's going to eat that, I'm sure. And over here we've got the Ozark Beauties. They're also an everbearing variety, and they're sending runners out like crazy as well. I haven't seen these things bloom in a little while, so once it got hot they pretty much shut down as far as blooming and producing strawberries. We've also had problems with brown spot, and that was due to all the rain, so you know, a lot of cutting leaves off and everything, trying to get rid of that, but I have not successfully gotten rid of it in this bunch of Ozark Beauties yet. But I mean, overall they're doing okay, and like I say, they're reproducing like crazy. This blueberry here, this was our best blueberry. It's a Tiff Blue, and we got it through Amazon and Perfect Plants, and it's just doing wonderfully. You can see you know, all of this new growth that just continues to appear, so the plant's growing and doing well, and we're real happy with that plant. Over here, a couple more of those plants from Amazon, and they fought brown spot. We got that fungus pretty hard with all the rains and everything. We had to cut them way back, but they're overall they're doing pretty well, and there's new growth on both plants, so they're doing okay. But now we've got a new problem, and the new problem is you can see where the ground is lower on there. I discovered tunnels underneath the plants, and it's moles, voles, gophers, I don't know, but we're gonna do some trapping and see if we can, you know, get some traps in the ground and try some different traps and capture them things, kill them, whatever. And so stay tuned for that video. We'll go through the process, document it, and then we'll put a video out eventually when we get it all put together and everything. Come over here to this mound. These strawberries on this end were the Ever Sweets, also a ever-bearing strawberry, and they pretty much quit producing with the heat as well, but they have been sending runners out like crazy. But now we've got random plants dying due to this tunneling creatures that are going underneath them. So there's a plant right there that just randomly died, and we know that's because there's a tunneling creature under there, and I don't know if he's eating the roots or just digging underneath and the roots are being exposed to air. Either way, the plant dies. And so when you get random plants just dying for no particular reason, be sure and check for tunnels. Look for holes around. You may have moles, voles, or gophers. And that's what we're dealing with. I suspect moles or voles, just based on the way that I'm seeing it. And if we come down here, I mean, here we've actually got a hole where they're going in and out possibly. But we're going to, like I say, get some traps in the ground. We'll videotape all that. The plants overall, our dill is going to seed, and we're letting that happen because we want the seeds. So this year we bought a pack of seeds and planted these. Maybe we bought a few packs, I don't know. And next year we won't have to buy seeds. You can see here this head is developing very well, and you can see the seeds are fattening up, and it's only a matter of time, and we'll be harvesting those seeds. Here's one that's further along here. And yeah, there's even a few seeds on there that are ready. So that's coming along. And then the basil, we're letting that go to seed as well. That's why it's got all these flowers on there. And then we can see our blueberry down in here. you know, this is one of those box store bag blueberries that was basically a cutting. And none of those are doing phenomenal. They are all growing, but they've got to develop their root system this year, and they'll grow. The plants are growing slightly. I don't know how many years that's going to be before those turn into actual blueberry bushes. So when it comes to the investment, much better expenditure to buy the plants, which were approximately 3 times the cost of these starts, cuttings, but those other plants, one of them, that one over there, the best one, produced this year. The other ones will probably all produce next year, while these cuttings, I don't know, we could be a few years away still. They're just growing very slow. Here's another one of those blueberries there. Overall, I mean, the plant looks well, it's healthy, and it's putting out new leaves and everything, but it's a long ways from being a healthy blueberry bush that's going to be in production. Moving right along, same thing over here. This is another one of those cutting blueberries. It does have has grown new leaves. It's got some new growth on it, but overall it's got a long way to go. And here's another one, same thing. The plant, you know, it's okay, it's not great. Had some challenges with the weather, too much rain, etc. as well. But here, that's all new right there. So I mean, it is growing, it is producing new growth, but overall, like I say, they're a long way from being in production. This one over here got an animal came by and somehow broke. All the growth was up at the top of the stem, going out into like 3 different branches, and that got literally broken off, and so the plant had nothing left. But I continued to water it and take care of it, and now we've got a bud right there, bud coming out there, bud coming out there. There's a bud down here. So it survived and it's coming along. But again, that was just a cutting, so it'll be a long time before these things are ready to produce anything. Over here we got another one of the ones from Amazon, Perfect Plants. I think this was a Climax variety. Let me see, blueberry. No, this is a Premier. So that's a Premier, and it's doing well also. You can see there's new growth all over it. We did have to cut that one back as well for some of that brown spot fungus that got into it, and, but it's come back nicely, and I think next year it'll be producing, and we should be getting blueberries from all these plants that we bought from Amazon, but I don't expect blueberries from any of the cuttings. They got a long way to go. So overall, you know, the strawberries are obviously being very prolific. They're not producing a ton of berries, and that's just due to the heat. But the quinaults seem to be the best as far as what's continuing to produce berries. They randomly produce. Like I say, this one's got 2 or 3 berries in that bag coming along. And I did see some blooms somewhere on there. Maybe it was this one. Yeah, okay, so this one is blooming there. It's got a berry starting to develop there, another bloom there. So and there's more blooms coming. So they do still randomly produce. They're just not producing in any quantity, but that was the intent of getting the ever-bearing ones, even though we know they don't like the heat, is just to see what we could do with them. And these do get some shade. Overall, like I say, they're looking well. But now the other thing is, we haven't got real rain here in 3 or 4 weeks now. And so that means I'm watering a lot, and I can tell you I am watering a lot. I've gone through more than a couple thousand gallons of water already. So we're having to work on a different plan to water these things, and I guess stay tuned for videos on the solution and how we work that out. But we don't want to continue using our captured rainwater that we use to take showers and all that kind of stuff. We need to save that water because our rainwater collection system is not set up yet. So we got to come up with plan B of how we're going to water the garden. Now this set of basil here, I've been picking these flowers off. So that's a flower head trying to develop there. I haven't hit this one in a few days, but usually I come through here and I pick all the little flower heads that I see, pull them off before they have a chance to develop. And that keeps this basil in production, so to speak, so that we can eat it. Lorena's been making some pesto with it, and you know, maybe we can get her to make a video sometime and show you how she's doing that using walnuts and basil and olive oil, and that makes a pretty good pesto. I mean, these things smell amazing. Every time I pull them heads off, it really brings out the smell in the plant. And so I love the smell of that stuff. And of course, if you like pesto, it makes a good one. Yeah, that dill going to seed coming along, and the dill smells amazing when I pick that as well. There's lots of seeds developing, so we'll be doing good on seeds for dill. There's no doubt about that, and we're hoping to harvest seeds on the basil as well as these flowers continue to develop and hopefully produce seeds. I have seen the pollinators working them regularly, so we should be able to get some basil seeds and lots of dill seeds, and that'll prevent us from having to buy seeds next year. Of course, in the garden we do have several heirloom plants that we'll harvest seeds from as well. And you know, that just prevents you from having to buy them. And of course, if something were to happen, you know, from a being prepared standpoint, anytime you can learn about growing heirloom plants and harvesting your seeds, you know, that's just one more skill that you put in your pocket for a time when you may need it. So anyway, that's the update on the garden. If you've stuck with us this long, appreciate you watching, appreciate you sticking with us, and you know, keep sticking around. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified when we put out our next video. And like always, take care, God bless, and we'll see you on the next one.